Hey buddies, I just posted my Crysis 3 video before the show, and then I've been reading the comments afterwards, and I wanted to give a follow-up video to address a few things. Namely, I have to make a consolation. I did not know when I made that video. See, I had said that I'd made looked at some comparison videos of PC versus console. What I didn't know about that was I was watching comparison videos with the pretty slow scenes, just kind of looking at the world and like the really big scenes, and they were slow because they were just looking up like this and stuff. What I didn't know was, and by the way, it also some facial close-ups, and like the PC was better, maxed out, obviously, but in my opinion, again, not by a whole lot. Like it's all really, it comes down to how much gloss you think is important when you're in the thick of the action. On what I didn't know is that I think it's Eurogamer did a great comparison video of PS3 and Xbox 360. The two of them running it and what their frames per second were, and it was very low, like between 20 and 28 frames per second. And in my opinion, that's unplayable. In my opinion, I think that anything below 30 frames per second for a video game that requires reflexes, especially, is completely unacceptable. So I am reversing my opinion on the console version. My advice on buying, if you have a PC that is capable, and you're going to have to do some Googling to find out whether it is or not, to at least run on low settings at 720p above 30 frames per second, then I would say the PC version is superior, except in the case of price still. Because, again, it's going to be harder. I guess with a physical copy of a PC version, you could also resell. It's up to you, like which one retains better resale value and that sort of thing. The other thing is, with a PC, you're likely going to be able to up that resolution. On a console, you're stuck with 720p, I believe. I doubt it's running. If it's running below 30 frames per second, it is not running in 1080p. So I can guarantee, I'm pretty sure of that. So that's another thing that you can do on the PC is run in a higher resolution. And on low settings with my 6970, it's the mobile version, by the way, and I saw some people asking about that because I'm on an iMac. I was able to run in the full monitor resolution, which is 2500 by 1400 something, at about 30 frames per second on all low settings with no anti-aliasing. And again, once you're up to that high of resolution, you don't really need anti-aliasing. You can barely know the difference because it's so high resolution that the anti-aliasing comes in just by sitting back a little bit from your monitor. Like, you just don't get up too close and you're not going to see jags. So there's that too. So like, there is a cost benefit definitely to the PC side. I still reject the claim that a 600 set oh, by the way, people were also saying that I have a system that can max it out. People have been using this term maxed out for getting above 30 frames per second. I still say that maxed out means 60 frames per second at highest settings on anything 720p and above. Some people might say it has to be 1080p and above to be maxed out, but if you can get 720p and above and stay at 60 frames per second or above, that's maxed out, by the way. That, in my opinion. So anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, people saying that they have $900, $700 PCs. I don't know, $700 maxed out. I'm going to say that you're rounding down or not including tax there. A $900 system, again, like maybe I'm just not completely up on the PC market, or if you build your own and you get like the rock bottom prices on all your specs, maybe I could see a $700 PC maxing out Crysis. Again, I haven't done the most research into this. But the reason I was saying $1,700 systems is I'm coming from the Mac camp, where you have this gigantic 27-inch monitor attached. So whenever I consider the price of a system, I always put on the price of the monitor, and that's probably should be left for another video. I'm gonna make a video someday titled "Why I Use a Mac and Why You Should Too," or maybe you should consider too, where I debunk a lot of the Mac myths that are out there. But it's like I should do it now because it's gonna be in the comments. I'm gonna do it really quick, and then I'm gonna make a separate video someday as well. The thing that makes people think that Macs are more expensive than PCs, but it's not completely, it's hardly true at all. It's like maybe a 10% premium that you're paying for Mac. Maybe that. Except on the low end. Low end Macs often will be a ripoff because the lower you get, if you get a PC that matches the specs on the low end, like the lowest iMac that you can get, you're probably going to save a lot of money getting a PC. But if you're going to the high end, into the systems that are in, like, you know, the i7s with 3.4 gigahertz or above, with the new iMac that comes with the GTX 680MX with 2 gigabytes RAM, that sort of thing, you're going to see like a very little difference. And in some cases, depending on the manufacturer, you're going to see more a premium on the PC side sometimes. That is it. The hardest part about this is that you have to take the monitor out of the equation. And the iMac 27-inch is running a monitor that's worth like $1,000. And to me, I can't go without that monitor. They are gorgeous. Running at that resolution is just, you have to see to believe. Maybe you'll see it and you'll say, that's fine, I don't care. But to me, there's no going back. Once you've run in 25,000 by, or 2500 by 1400, and the quality of it is just amazing. Many reviewers compare it to the Dell Ultra Sharps, which are also around $1,000 at 27-inch. So there's that. The other thing is Mac resale value. The resale value of a Mac, and this is how I upgrade. People ask how I upgrade. Every time they come out with a new iMac, I sell my old Mac and I buy a new one. And you may think that must be expensive as hell, but the thing is, Macs retain their second market value so well because it's an iMac. It's a Mac, first of all, so you have what you may consider to be crazy Mac heads out there, that want used iMacs just as much as those who want new ones, and they're looking for them. And unlike a PC where you may have built it yourself, so that resale value, how do you explain to someone? You give them the specs, that's what my PC is. They have to trust you built it right. They have to trust there's nothing wrong with it inside. Whereas on the Mac side, you sell an iMac 27-inch from 2012. People know exactly what they're getting. So on Craigslist, if you go on Craigslist, you're going to see like last year's iMac selling for maybe at most 20% less than last year. So what I see it as is like I'm renting. I'm renting a computer for a couple $100s a year, maybe a little more, maybe $300 or $400 tops 400. It's like leasing, and you get an upgrade every year. It's like getting a free computer upgrade for $400 a year. Like that's pretty good, and that's how I figure it. That's how I substantiate it. Some people may still consider that to be too expensive, but that's how I plan it. And I've been doing it, by the way, for 7 years now. I knew I wasn't going to be able to not include this in the discussion. And this is I've been selling reselling iMacs for like 7 years now. I've sold probably 10, resold, bought new ones, sold again on Craigslist. That's how confident I am in the system. And the other thing is to consider is the iMac warranty, and that's why resale value retains so well. If you sell right before it gets out of its 1-year warranty, people know that they can buy it, and if there's something wrong, it's a transferable warranty. So the next person who owns it, them, can just, if something does go wrong, can go right into Apple and say, fix it. They'll be like, okay, they just check the serial number. They don't ask who you are. They don't ask for a receipt. They just check the serial number, and it's in their system whether it's still in warranty or not. In addition to that, if the person who buys it from you resold, all they have to do if they want to extend the warranty is extend the warranty. You simply go online, you enter in the serial number, and you pay $200 to get 2 more years onto the warranty. You don't have to do it at point of sale like you would at a Best Buy when you buy a new Dell. You just wait until the end of the year, and then you make the decision whether you want to extend that warranty or not. This is why Macs do not have the exorbitant price that the myth continues to say that they do. It's all how you look at it. It really does depend on whether you think you need that monitor or not. And it also depends on whether you're looking for the high end or not. If you're okay with a 21-inch that has the lower specs, like an i5 processor, stuff like that, you might be better off getting a PC, because it is in that range, that lower end range, that Macs start to get like what they call the Mac tax. You're paying extra just to have a Mac, which again, some people think that's worth it. That is another subjective opinion. Whether you like the OS X or not is up to you. I just would warn that you not make your opinion until you've actually given OS X a shot for a couple months. For me, there's no other way. Like, I would never not use OS X or Final Cut Pro, and that's the other reason why I'm stuck on not stuck on Mac, but why I would never use anything but Mac. I like Final Cut Pro more than any other nonlinear editing system out there, and that's the facts of it. You can't tell me that my opinion isn't right because it's my subjective opinion. It's my opinion about what I like. So that said, that is 2 vlogs in one. I kind of didn't want to do that because I do want to make a Mac vlog, a second one. Maybe one day I will, and I'll really spell it out. I'll get all the numbers or something and tell people why they should buy a Mac, or consider it one day. So that's the Crysis caveats. I changed my opinion. Crysis on PC is superior, bar none, even if you have a lower end PC, because you'd have to have a pretty low end PC for it to run on lowest settings under 30 frames per second. That's making the current generation of systems sound not that great, but it's also maybe speaks to how much time Crysis put into optimizing for the console versions. Maybe they just didn't do it well enough there. It's hard to actually judge that, right? So that's that. I hope I didn't leave anything out, but I guess I'll be in the comments to address anything that I may have. Just keep an open mind when you make your comments, guys, and just don't ever tell me that running boot camp, that's the other thing with Mac. When you buy a Mac, you're not stuck to OS X. You can run Windows just as easily. You buy a copy of Windows, or get it another way, and you pop it on there, and booting into boot camp is just running Windows on another partition. It's not virtualization. You're not running OS X in the background while you run Windows. It's just like running, exactly like running a PC on the exact same specs. So don't ever tell me that it's because I'm running on a Mac that it's running slower or something like that. It's completely false, and you will just make a fool of yourself saying something like that. That's it. All right. I love you, buddies, and I'll talk to you next time. See you later.